guys, welcome back. If you're new here, my name is Laurie. What you see here are a couple of journals I made from some packaging. And they were a lot of fun, so I wanted to share with you how I made them and what I used to make them, and just create one with you. These first two here are from one bag, and they're made from packaging like this that you get in the mail when you order something. Okay? And I have two here, one smaller, one bigger. I was surprised after I finished these. My husband ordered something, I don't know, some sort of something, and they came packaged like this. I'm like, oh, that's so good. I need that. So that's what we're going to use today, one of those. The paper I used on here is like drop paper, like this. I clean off my brush on these papers. If you've been here for a while, you know when I create, I take my paint off my brush or my pens or my markers or whatever I'm using, and I just scribble on the paper below me. You can see I've started a new one here and here and here. This one's got flowers doodled on it actually, but that's how they start, just like this. And this one's, you can consider it done. I've been adding a little bit here and there. I just like it. I like to look at it. I like the colors. But I'm going to use a drop paper, and I have some samples here of drop papers that I could use, but I think what I want to do is, this one's really not finished. None of them are finished. They're just papers I clean my brush off with. But I figured if you are one that uses drop paper, you'll have this supply handy. If you're not someone who does that, then I think what I want to do is kind of start from scratch with one of these that are sort of started, and just create one with you so that you know the process and you can make your own. So these are, like this one, it's just a bunch of different stencils and paint cleaned off. You never know what you can do with them. There's so many things you can do with these. You could take a paper like this and just cover your bag completely with this, and that could be your journal. I mean, right there, it could be your journal. So that's what I used for paper behind here. And then I took some like scrapbook paper, and I pulled something that I liked that kind of went with it. You can use any kind of scrapbook paper, or you can use any paper you've made, but I happened to pull mine from this book, Paper, Paper, Paper. It's the Botanical Collection, and I got it at, where'd I get it? Barnes & Noble. So I've got it handy in case I want to pull paper from this to use for the journal today. I think I'm going to try to stick to the way I made these so that you see the process I went through. They won't look exact, but I'm going to try to use as close to what I used here so that you see how it goes. The bird that I used is a die cut, and it looks like this. It's a Tim Holtz die cut, I think, and I just painted them black. That's how these wound up here, because I laid them down on my paper and I just painted them black, so it left the black outline. So that's how they got there. That's how you get your paper to build up and look cool. The backs, I just embellished on the papers that I added. And on the inside is paper packaging that comes in things you order online. So that's paper, and a piece of scrapbook paper, and paper I made, and it looks like this. And there's a video about that before this video, showing you how I made these papers. And it's just scraps all glued together. So one of these went in my book. And then you're just gonna decorate the white pages, but this is already kind of pre-started for you. That's those books. Then I just thought I'd show you real quick these. These are books that were made using a piece of scrapbook paper, and oh, it's thundering and lightning here. I don't know if you can hear it in the background. And on the front, I glued scraps. So it's similar to these, except on the back of these, this is deli paper that I glued on my scraps to. This is paper that I just glued to each other to make my own paper. So this is scraps glued to the back of a piece of scrapbook paper. So your scrapbook paper is white on the back a lot of times, and so I just covered it. And they're not really done. I just grabbed what was in front of me and I just put it down, and I just thought they were really cute. So you can use this kind of thing to make these. So I thought I'd show you that since I've already have these out. What you're gonna need is some paint of your choice, colors of your choice, some maybe watercolor pencils or the Woody Stabilo pencils. That's probably what I'm gonna use. Maybe some stamps that you like. You don't have to use a stamp, you can freehand. If you don't have a die cut or you don't wanna use a bird, you can use something else. But if you don't have a die cut, you can find a shape online that you like and print it out and then cut it out and use that. Whatever you wanna do. Okay, I'm gonna start out using these Lucas Studio Paints. And these are only colors I have, so it makes it real easy. I don't have a choice, I just have a limited palette. But I'm just gonna start off with a color, making a freehand flower, and then I'm gonna clean my brush off on another part of the paper. So that's how I'm gonna build my paper, by cleaning my brush, by doing something and then cleaning. And I'm not making a project, which I normally would be doing and cleaning, so we're just gonna do it on here as the project. I'm probably not gonna use the whole sheet for the journal, so it doesn't matter if you've got all different kinds of colors on here, because you're just gonna use parts of your paper. I don't know, I may use the whole thing. This isn't my normal size paper, so I don't know, I may. We'll start with this color here. This is vermilion, and I'm just gonna get a simple little brush. We have a scruffy brush here for scruffy work, and some round brushes, a flat brush, and I don't know what, a filbert I think this is called. So just simple brushes, and if you want a bigger brush, because we might bring some inks in, if you want a bigger brush that's softer to kind of blend in, then get something like that. But whatever you have is gonna work just fine. And I don't really need a palette because I'm just gonna play out of the tube. I've got water over there. You can start out, if you want to, with a pencil or a Stabilo pencil. Your Stabilo pencil is water activated, so you know it'll smear, but that's okay. It makes it even more grungy, which is great in my book. Or you can just use a regular pencil to draw your flower. You could start off with a funky flower here, like that. And paint it in. Or you could do a Stabilo pencil, which I'll show you in a second. Forgot the circle in here. Then you can activate that with water. I'll show you that real quick. Most of you know, but some of you might not. And it just makes it darker and spreads it out a little bit. This paper is newspaper print, so it absorbs very easily. You might want to use copy paper or some other paper. I would use a thin paper because you don't want it too thick for doing your journal. So I like this paper. It's real thin. Probably goes right through. Let's see. Yep, see? That's okay. It's no big deal. Let's go ahead and just paint one of the flowers. Start off, and I don't care if I lose my pencil line because I'm going to go around it again anyway. And I don't care if it's real neat and perfect because that ain't my bag, baby. That's not my style. I don't want the stress of having to be perfect in the art room. Okay. So I'm going to do a few of these and you get you started. So hopefully you'll feel comfortable. My dog is panting. If you hear panting, it's thundering and they are afraid of the thunder. Okay, so see we've got one flower painted in. While I have my brush out, since I've drawn another flower, I'll go ahead and I'll do the center of this flower, that color. And then this is where if I was doing this on a separate sheet of paper or a painting or something, then I would have this paper below it and I would clean off my brush. So then I would start cleaning, making shapes, or just getting the paint off however I wanted to. Make circles, and I'd wet my brush and get off all the paint that I could until I was tired of doing that or all the paint was gone. And then I move on to the next color. So let's do this color. It is coral. Now we have our brush to clean again, and because we've already put color down up here, we could go ahead and add to it, but there's not a lot on my brush, so it's not going to really matter. So we won't worry about that. All right, let's try another one. Also, I turn my paper during my work so that I don't focus all on one direction. I want it all over the place. So let's do one up here. Okay, just scribbling. No big deal. Doesn't have to be perfect. Don't have to know how to draw flowers or anything. Okay, that's done. While my brush has paint on it still, let's go ahead and just draw a flower with the paint. Then I'll clean off my brush. And I wet it. Just clean off the rest of the paint. Okay, so now you got the process. So I'm going to keep going. I'm going to leave this petal a little open because I like that pink and tan and black. I'm going to leave that there. And I might leave the center. I don't know, I may come back and paint it later, and then I'm just going to clean my brush. I'm going to finish this off camera real quick and talk to the dogs a second, and then I'll be right back. Okay, I've got the botanical piece painted in, and I added the rest of my color over here and over here. So I'm just going to continue on, and off and on I'll maybe say something, but for the meantime I'm just going to finish up this paper and we're going to put shapes down in pencil and in Stabilo. Okay, you saw me do some splattering there at the end. That's just to get more color other places. And I'm still turning my paper and I'm just adding. So I'm gonna dry this a little bit so that I can work on it in different angles easier without dragging my sleeve through it. And I'm gonna continue painting on it, but I'm gonna bring in some other supplies to work on it now, I think, just to add more color. I'm gonna play with this neon pink and yellow ochre. I want to color in my little scallops over here. I decided to bring in some of my stamps. I wasn't going to, but I changed my mind because I want to fill in some of these spaces. I took the scraps of the rubber after I got through carving stamps and I just made little marks. So I'm going to use some of those in the smaller spaces. And there's a leaf and a little flower. Love my big flower. It's my favorite. I might use that one. And then I have this one here I might use, and the word funky that I might put in there. And I only have 3 colors pulled out. I pulled out black, fuchsia pink, and olive green. I don't know that I want a bunch of colors in here, but I'm gonna start with these and we'll see where we go from there. Okay, I decided not to use any more stamps, but I am going to keep my funky out because I might use that last. I have all my woody stabilos out. I need to get more of these. I want more colors. So I'm going to use these, and I'm just going to take a paintbrush, grab the color I want, dip my brush in water, and then I'm going to use the pencil as my paint. And sometimes I will just go ahead and use the pencil on the page like that. You can dip the tip of your pencil in the water too and use it that way if you want to. If you find that you don't like your paper because it feels convoluted or messy or disorganized or whatever, just keep going. Don't give up. You'll get there. You will just use pieces of it. Well, you may use all of it. I don't know. I don't want to speak for you, but once you cut it up and tear it up and use different sections, it changes the look of it. And then you just add more. You just keep adding on your journal. All right, when you get to this point, it's just play. Well, it's been play the whole time, but it's just more play. I'm just gonna take whatever comes to my mind and put it on the paper, and what came to my mind was to use the brown Stabilo Woody and just outline a few things and then go over it with my water. So I don't know if I'm gonna like it, but like I said, you don't have to use every part of your paper, and this will work for something else if I don't like it for this. So we'll just try it and see. Let's see what the water does for us. I like it. Okay, I like that. I'm going to take a pencil and play on the paper. Okay, so the pencil's done, and I'm thinking I'm going to make this video 2 parts. The first part being prepare your paper, and the second part will be decorating the packaging and making the journal. So because we already have paint going and stuff and brushes out, I'm going to take my die cuts and I'm going to paint them so they can be dry when I'm ready for them. And let's see, I'll just put them on this paper here. I'm going to paint one going one way and one going the other so that I have an option for both ways on my journal. And I'm just going to take black paint and put some out on my bird. Put it over here a little bit. And I'm just going to paint it. Alright, so I'm going to let those dry, and then I just take what's left on my brush, as usual, clean that up, and I just put it on my paper. I like to do these little black marks along the side. I don't know why, I just do. Okay, I'll let those dry. I've got my black paint still out here, so I'm going to wet my brush, and I'm going to get the rest of the paint off this cap. I'm gonna see if I can get some black splatters on here. What next? Oh, we're gonna decide if I want the word funky on there before we close the video today. I decided I do want the word on there. I want to use paint. I'm gonna try using black. So I'm just gonna spread a little black paint out on my, it's palette paper that I've got here. So I can use it as a stamp pad. I'm going to go in between things instead of on top of things because I don't really think I want it on things. So I'll just put it right there the first time and see what I think. Ah, I think it's cute. Okay, so we're going to do some more. Okay, paper's almost dry, not quite, but I wanted to show you, I know the paper's a little bigger than the screen, at least I think it is, based on what I can see. I wanted to show you the paper in its entirety. Okay, so this is what we're going to use to create our journals, and it won't look like this when you're done, but it's a good start. And then I have my black birds painted, ready to go. And I think we're going to call it a day. And in the next video, we will tear out the sections of paper we're going to need for our books and decorate our book covers and put our pages in and just create a little journal together. All right, I hope you have a great day. I hope you're inspired to play and create some papers. And this would be cute, just cover tags or cards or something, just take little sections of it. It'd be so cute. I will see you in the next video to finish our journals. Thanks for watching. Have a great day, and I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye. Okay, I think that's going to be enough as I keep hitting my brush.